Hello YouTubers, this is the noobifier. It's Friday and we got a calling all devs about the road to salvage. Here's what you need to know in 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Todd Pappy said that salvage is broken down into 4 parts. Hull scraping, which is like stripping, salvaging of components, mashing up the hull is known as MA, and siphoning. Hull scraping is basically the reverse of repair. Component retrieval is intended to be done from a first-person perspective, where you'd actually float over, release the component, and then return with it. The MA involves flying over to something, placing charges, and splitting the hull into more manageable parts. And siphoning is quite obvious, that's taking quantum fuel, hydrogen fuel, and oxygen from the tanks within the wreck. They need solid persistence before they can add salvage, as the wrecks would need to remain in place as players work on the collection. Salvaging components is also dependent on solid persistence, and we need the completion of the physicalized component system. The MA is dependent on progressive states similar to the damage states. Damage states are the procedural phases of damage that the player can see as parts receive abuse. Siphoning is going to require access points to each tank where the player can connect to and extract the commodities. John Crew spoke about progress with the vehicle components. Work has been done to make the actual components, and you can see them in the stores around the solar system. Ships that were released in the last 18 months have the required compartments to allow players to change out the components, however that system's not implemented. They also need to add this to all legacy ships on either the exterior of small ships or the interior of larger ones. Once implemented, the object streaming is going to link all the systems together, but it's easy to see that this is a blocker for salvage. Dan spoke about how power is delivered throughout the ship. He said that the original pipe system that we're familiar with is being replaced with a more complete simulation to include data, cooling, electrical, plus all the other systems that are needed in the future. He said that the system would behave like its own minigame, and as an example of within an Icarus, he said the chief engineer would need to manually work and tweak the system to keep things running. The backend is now known as the resource generation and item control. He said they're currently working in the design stage of the system. He confirmed that there was a lot of work and a lot of planning that we need to see before this is added. Todd then confirmed with the following projections. Power needs to be added, and it needs to be working. Then the items need to be placed and linked within the ships. After that, Todd wants to add hull scraping, seen as a level 0, but he said it's possible that component salvage may launch at the same time if it's ready. The MA or mashing and siphoning would come later. That's it. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.